Fries, the world-famous spaghetti on Wednesday. 3210 Thomas Drive, J. Michael's Restaurant.
High blood pressure affects your entire body. So how do you reduce the risk? Hi, from Samaritan Ministries, a health-sharing ministry. I'm Doug Chamberlain with a family health checkup. We can all experience a temporary spike in blood pressure caused by stress, caffeine, or sudden pain, and from some of the foods we eat. And you might not even experience symptoms, which is why it's important to have it checked annually, and more often if it's in your family history. Untreated, it can have an adverse effect on your brain, vision, heart, kidneys, and bones. But there's steps you can take to minimize your risk. Limit your salt intake and increase potassium in your diet by eating leafy greens, vine fruits like grapes, root vegetables, and citrus fruits. Exercise 30 minutes a day to increase your heart rate. And finally, maintain a healthy weight and take steps to manage your stress. For more, visit us on Facebook or at familyhealthcheckup.org.
The Army National Guard plays a vital role in your community. We're on the front lines supporting essential personnel, first responders, law enforcement, and medical professionals, delivering food, supplies, and medicine, keeping communities safe, making a difference. During emergencies, we're always ready, always there. Learn more about part-time service in the Army National Guard at nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard, aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Atlanta Braves play here. Powered by Pepsi. WGSX Haven, Panama City. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
There's no need to fear.
The Underdogs are here. The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air.
What time is it?
Live from the Slim Chicken Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
You hear it, baby. Game 3 of the NLCS. We are 7.5 minutes away from first pitch. Join us throughout the day. We'll be giving you some live listens into the Braves broadcast. Huge game. Charlie Morton versus Walker Buehler on the mound tonight. Oh, can't wait for it. Old school, we've got something for you guys. We'll get into that.
Bueller.
Hey, bada, swing, bada.
And we're wanting the Dodgers to be swinging and missing a lot tonight with Charlie Morton on the mound. Welcome into the Slim Chicken Studio. I'm David Hayes, joined with Old School Boston Tim. Will be here any second. You can call or text at all, anytime during the show today. 850-215-6290. Got a great show lined up for you. Your Minute with Max. We'll have Max in the building talking some playoff baseball with us. We'll talk to Brad Law about the big win that the Auburn Tigers had in Fayetteville against the Arkansas Razorbacks and what they plan to do ahead of the bye week. Defend your stance. Great stuff in there as well. Leading off with the question, who's going to replace Coach O? Give you our thoughts and our opinions on that whole saga that is happening in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We've got some headlines for hour 2. Get into some more of NFL and what happened in Week 6, the big game last night between the Titans and the Bills on Monday Night Football. Improbable things happening. How about the catch? Oh, we'll get into that. We've got some takeaways from college football in the NFL world and some things happening here in Bay County in our local sports world. Catch you all up on that. Still playing trivia. 850-215-6290. The prizes for today are one of the 5 following restaurants brought to you by Merchant Management Group. They will eliminate your fees. All you got to do is give them a call. If you run a restaurant, retail shop, salon, or spa call 850-774-0664. The trivia question for today, Kyle Schwarber is the second leadoff hitter with a grand slam in a league championship series game. Who was the first? That's all you got to do, 850-215-6290. We're on the radio at 104.3, streaming live on Facebook and YouTube, and with our TV partner, blabtv.com. Be with them at 4:30 today. Make sure that you like and share our Facebook page. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're also on Twitch now, ESPN Northwest Florida. Download the new app, register, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Great way to keep up with everything. Boston Tim, welcome into the Slim Chicken Studio. How's it going, brother?
Beautiful. It is the Grand Slam of cash and the Grand Slam of postseason baseball, ladies and gentlemen.
We are right here in the thick of it. We'll be giving some live listens into the show throughout the show today. But the Titans last night rode Derrick Henry to a 34-31 win on Monday Night Football. I was texting my dad throughout this, and at the beginning, before the game even started, he texted me his score. Boston Tim was texting me throughout the game as well about the touchdown count and the yardage count, and nailed that one on the head. My dad's score projection for the game last night was 34-31 Tennessee. Wow. I was like, no way that you actually nailed that one on the head. And especially the improbability of the Buffalo Bills going for it on 4th and inches there and not getting it done. Ben Simmons and a turf monster taking down Josh Allen there. But Old School, you don't agree with the spot of the ball and where they were there. You think that it should have been a first down.
Yeah, at the time I thought it should have been a first down. I thought he was on his back and they were all talking about where his butt hit the ground, but he was on top of a player, so his butt didn't hit the ground until after he was past the first, after when he put the ball out of bounds, which I thought was over the first the
first down marker.
The first down
I agree.
Marker, so.
Absolutely.
Oh, I disagree completely.
Of course you do.
I'm saying from watching it over and over, because at first my initial thought was, that's a first down, no doubt about it. But when you watch it, that ball does not cross the first down marker while it's in bounds. No way.
Well, that's your opinion, sir, and you are entitled to it.
Get him a damn pacifier.
That's what you need, Old School, as a pacifier, but a great game. It was a
first down, man. I'm sorry, but it was a first down.
Didn't work out that way, and if he would have kept his eyes upfield, which is extremely difficult to do when you got 3 big defenders running at you. He had Cole Beasley wide open there, and then they go for the QB sneak, which Josh Allen last night, especially just in those short distance to gains, be it a QB sneak or the one time when they were at the goal line and instead of sneaking and following the center, he kind of went out to the left there and was met by 3 Titans defenders. He just didn't look that confident in that particular part of his game last night. Everything else looked well, and we were really treated to a lot better of a game than a lot of people, including myself, was thinking that we were going to get. I thought, if anything, the first half would be interesting, and then the Buffalo Bills would kind of walk away from there. But Boston Tim definitely has a takeaway in the NFL world that really directly correlates with that. Can't wait to get into that today at 5:30. A couple of stats going along with that before we get into the pummeling that the Red Sox gave to America last night against the Astros. How amazing was that? How amazing was the post-game after the show where you could not hear Frank Thomas? You could hear Poppy. That was about the only person that you could hear. That was only because the crowd would kind of chill out a little bit. But first, some stats dealing with the game. There were 7 lead changes in the Bills-Titans game last night. According to Elias Sports, that ties the record for most lead changes in a Monday Night Football game. There were also 7 when the Cowboys and Eagles met on Monday Night Football in 2008. Since his first start with the Titans in Week 7 of the 2019 season, Ryan Tannehill now has 9 fourth-quarter comeback wins. That's the most in the NFL in that time frame. Derrick Henry, the first player to rush for 10 touchdowns within his team's first 6 games since 2005, when both Sean Alexander and LaDainian Tomlinson did so. The Titans running back Derrick Henry also recorded his 6th career 70-yard rushing touchdown versus the Bills, passing Barry Sanders and O.J. Simpson for the 3rd most in NFL history. He's also the first player with a 70-yard rushing touchdown in 5 straight seasons. Now let's go over to the Red Sox. If you guys don't have any more on the Titans-Bills, tell me what you guys took away from that game, the 12-3 pummeling of the Astros last night.
Well, real quick on the Titans-Bills, it was an exceptional game, and I thought that Henry was going to go off, and just after we got off the show, David and I were talking, and I said, he's going to get about 147 yards and 3 touchdowns, and it was almost spot on. And, he's just on. You talked about it before the season. It's hard for anybody to even presume that there's another person who could be in line for the rushing championship as long as he's playing football. And that's really all I wanted to say, was just talk about Derek for a second. We'll go on to the Red Sox. I'm happy to talk about them anytime.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it was a great game last night, and most importantly, and we saw it if you were watching the game or listening to the game, that, we're really taking off at the beginning of every single game. And we've scored more runs in history in the first 3 innings than any postseason Red Sox team has ever done. And so being the oldest team in history, that's pretty amazing to consider. So very, very exciting to have the bats going the way that they are. You can never expect it to be consistent. You're not going to assume that we're going to score double digits in every single game. But it's really amazing to see that not only is it happening, but it's being spread out thoroughly throughout the team. And the guys that you would presume, like Xander Bogaerts, who's had probably one of the better seasons for us as far as the bat goes, he's not doing well at all, similar to Freddie Freeman in the Braves. But yet the guys that aren't typically the big name players are rallying around and making the games much better than they have been. So very excited about it. The playoffs are looking exceptional.
Well, I've got 7 stats going along with that game, but first let's get a live listen into the Atlanta Braves there at Dodger Stadium. We should be approaching first pitch.
And he's coming off one of the best nights of his life in Game 2 of this series with 4 base hits, including the game winner. Now time taken in between pitches. Something came out onto the field out from the bleachers in left center, and center fielder Gavin Lux had to go fetch it.
All right, we'll keep you up to date with that. Not a lot going on with the first pitch. It was a ball outside, but here we go. Red Sox pummeling the Astros 12-3, taking a 2-1 lead. Pretty commanding, especially being there in Boston. The environment last night. I mean, which environment was better? I think that's a defend your stance question in and of itself. I think the answer is very easy, but one of the best environments that we've ever seen in Nissan Stadium for Tennessee Titans football compared to the raucous world that was Fenway Park last night, inside and outside of the ballpark.
Yeah, I'd say there was probably half as many people outside. So if we can hold about 36,000 people in Fenway, there was probably about 18,000 people surrounding the park for the game. They'll typically shut down Lansdowne and another shorter road like Yawkey Way, and they did it. And when they had the post game interview, you saw Poppy out there and A-Rod. It was just unbelievable.
There was a lot of times where you wouldn't get any audio at all from the post game because of the crowd.
It's my city. It said Poppy, and that's all you'd hear. And it's like, I love this guy, man.
Old school, what just happened in the Braves game?
Rosario just got a hit.
Lead off base hit.
Still on fire
and
after that 4-for-5 game that we saw.
Heredia's standing in the dugout with 2 swords. I don't know what that's supposed to be about. Maybe he's chopping on, or but it's just they're having fun.
Everybody's got to have something, Jock with his pearls and the Red Sox with their laundry cart.
Yeah, the laundry cart.
Dude, the laundry cart has got to be one of the coolest things that have happened in baseball. I mean, you had the panda hugs and all that stuff, and the mix it up with Ozuna was with the Braves, and they've kind of changed that over to the big chop from the dugout. But the laundry cart and pushing it down and getting the high fives on either side's got to be one of the coolest celebrations that's ever happened in baseball history.
And threw the label on. Now they got the Red Sox label on the front of it. It looks real cool. It's a great idea.
Kyle Schwarber with the Boston Red Sox. Is there a connection there that baseball fans aren't realizing, or that what's going on though, man? They love him there in Boston, but in the post game he wears a shirt. What's that? Maltok?
I missed it.
Okay. He used to be a ball boy for the Celtics.
Right.
Back in the day. So he's a homegrown boy there, and being back in Boston, this is an unbelievable situation, especially when, just like the Braves, very similar to the Braves, everyone counted out the Red Sox, everyone counted out the Braves. It was almost a shoo-in, if you were listening to the media, for it to be a Dodgers-Astros 2017 revenge game, if you will, or World Series. But it's not going to be.
It's not looking that way, but you never know. It's early on in both series, although the Braves are ahead. They're looking good. We know what history has shown to happen for teams that get ahead and kind of lax, and we hope that doesn't happen again this year. And the same thing with the Red Sox. While we are up a game,
Freddie just took the lid off.
Freddie!
He's just got a base hit.
Expect a lot of these today.
Yeah, awesome.
During this show. Max Delighten just texted me. He says, Schwarbo is an Ohio boy. So maybe I'm wrong about that, but I've been seeing some things on Twitter connecting him to the Bostonians and how much love they have for him. Either way, I think it's a pretty cool story.
Hey, if he walked down the street in Boston one time before and he was wearing a shirt that said Faneuil Hall on it, bam, he's beloved by the Reds, by Boston.
Well, really, another guy that's just having a huge series.
Look at that smile on Freddie's face. I love to see it.
Another guy that's just having a big series is Kiki Hernandez, former Dodger.
maybe one of the biggest seasons, post seasons in history.
Yeah, I mean, he had 2 hits on Monday. He's up to now 17 hits in the postseason in his last 6 games. It's amazing how these guys that are former Dodgers, Jock Peterson,
Kiki Hernandez is maybe outshining everyone right now.
He is. I mean, it just shows you how good that Dodgers lineup is, or their roster. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Well, they can give away their extra guys, their bullpens and their backup players, and they're creating other championship teams in doing so.
Double play
too soon.
No, that was the tough one there. I mean, that was a running catch. Rosario didn't think they were going to get to it. They did. They just doubled him off. So we're still another base running blunder by the Braves.
All right, let's get to Travis Oglesby. He was our Fan for Fan Friday. He's got some things on baseball. Travis, welcome into the Afternoon Underdog Show. You're on the air. Go ahead.
My pleasure, gentlemen. First, did anybody call that upset from Auburn on Friday? I couldn't remember.
I think the guy that was sitting in the chair that you were in.
I believe that was you.
Oh, okay. I was just checking that one because I almost got laughed out of the building for that one.
That was a good call, though.
How about my Red Sox and the Bravos? We're on fire right now. We just need to keep it going.
Just got to keep it going. I mean,
World Series.
I mean, what a time for sports.
Yeah.
I mean, we got World Series going. I mean, we got the championship series going for both leagues. We've got Monday Night Football. We've got the start of the NBA coming up. This is just an awesome time. Yeah. I mean, it's just a great time for sports.
It's just a great time in general, hockey as well.
Go ahead, Travis.
I said that's why fall's the best time of the year. Brings them all.
Oh, especially when it's October. But this October, we're calling it Jocktober and keeping it rolling. Hey, Travis, we're up against the break. Thanks so much for the call. And you nailed it right on the head with that Auburn-Arkansas upset there.
Thanks, guys, man. A pleasure as always. Y'all have a great day.
No doubt, man. You do the same. We appreciate you and everyone else that's out there listening. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. This is the Afternoon Underdogs. We'll be back for the bottom of the first inning between the Braves and the Dodgers. Don't forget to get out of Blue Sky Express Car Wash. Get that car looking brand new.
My forecast overnight, mostly clear skies, 62 to 68 for the low, an east wind at 10, and the water temperature in the Gulf, 82. A chance of a few showers Wednesday and Wednesday night, partly sunny during the day, partly cloudy at night. The high Wednesday in the low 80s, and it'll be averaging in the mid to upper 60s Wednesday night. Better chance of showers Thursday and Friday. I don't think any thunderstorms, just mainly showers, partly sunny in the low 80s. For 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, this is meteorologist Tim Root.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is your chance to win cold hard cash.
Hi, this is Ernie Mello from Lynn Haven, Florida. I just won $1,000.
2 ways to win this national contest. Listen weekdays at 8:45, 12:45, and 4:45 for a new code word. You hear it. Enter the code word at ESPNPC.com or use the new ESPN Northwest Florida app to play. The Grand Slam of Cash.
Corum's Steak and Egg, home of the world-famous Heavenly Hash, has been family-owned and operated since 1986. Open daily 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Corum's Steak and Egg prides itself in offering fresh, never-frozen favorites at family-friendly prices. Come in and check out our daily lunch and dinner specials. Corum's Steak and Egg at 804 South Tyndall Parkway, where you never leave hungry. Also available on DoorDash and Grubhub.
Dr. Chad Mitchell, orthopedic surgeon, specializing in sports medicine and joint replacement of the knee, shoulder, and hip. He serves our local athletes and our community. Southern Orthopedic Specialist has been the leader in orthopedic care for over 20 years. New patients are welcome. Call 850-769-KNEE to schedule an appointment. More about Dr. Mitchell and Southern Orthopedic Specialists is available on their website, southernorthopedic.com. Southern Orthopedic, getting you back in the game.
Impact Promotions along with Parkway Tire brings you Beatdown at the Beach 21. Live MMA action and Halloween party Saturday, October 30th at Laketown Wharf. General admission available in advance or at the door. To reserve your VIP table, call 691-9650. Don't miss this night of live MMA action. Call 691-9650 for tickets. Beatdown at the Beach 21. Sponsored by Flooring Solutions and Advantage Refrigeration and Air Conditioning. Your local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
The mission?
Your mission, should you decide to accept it.
Save the panhandle from boring cookie-cutter radio. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. Live in the Slim Chicken studio.
The state will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back into the Slim Chicken Studio. The Dodgers are on their way to the plate. Mookie Betts is leading it off against Charlie Morton, who hasn't been in Dodger Stadium since 2017 as a member of the Houston Astros. And hey, if you line it up with the base. There we go. Big Max in the studio with us.
He might be able to count things, but he can't. He's not an engineer.
No.
This is your minute with Max.
He'll make sure the engineer doesn't overspend on the project. I can assure you of that.
That's for sure.
So we got some good baseball stuff going away, and going on. Can Charlie Morton put the Dodgers away today? What do you think? I know that it won't be the end of the series, but you got to think if it goes to 3-0, Braves are in good position. What do you think, though? Can Charlie Morton get the job done today? Max. I almost called you Boston Max. I would have
Boston Max. I mean, it was Kyle Schwarber. I was going to wear the jersey.
The Northerners.
If I had known Tim was here, I was going to wear my Schwarber jersey.
Oh, man. The Cub style?
Yeah.
I hope I don't go too crazy up there this weekend. Have every new guy's jersey by the time I get back. Yeah. We got tickets to the Celtics game on Friday, so I'm excited about that. Celtics Raptors will be right behind the bench. So.
So we'll see you on TV.
Yeah. Most likely. I'm probably going to wear the yellow jersey just so it pops.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Boston
we're right there,
Marathon.
third row behind the guys.
I'll look for you. I think sadly, I think the Dodgers win tonight. I want the Braves to win.
Hey, that was fun. Thanks for stopping by. I was just kidding.
That was Slim Chicken's interview.
I'd rather talk about that than football this weekend. But I don't know. I think the Braves have been awesome. It's been a great surprise so far.
Yeah.
Surprise? What do you mean surprise?
They were big underdogs.
I was surprised as you, Max.
It's been a pleasant surprise. I'm happy about it. And also, I think we all deserve a pat on the back because we were talking about X Factors. Austin Riley, walk-off hit and a homer. Jock, huge homer. Those are the two guys you brought up. I think David deserves props for that. He's
we teamworked around it, and I listened to a lot of Sam Peebles that got me on the right line.
Yeah, you're right, though. It's the pearls.
It's the pearls, man, for real.
But, man, I just think Walker Buehler is so good, and the Dodgers need it badly. I think this is still going to go 7, and I really hope it does for good baseball. I'm sorry, guys.
No, I 100% agree with you. As a baseball fan, there's like this 0.1% person inside of it that's like,
more baseball.
I do. I mean, it's kind of hard not seeing or not thinking that this game would go 7. You just absolutely don't want it to go to 7 because I think that it favors, in a sense, the Dodgers if it goes to 7.
Yeah.
Right. There hasn't been a 5-6 out stretch in the first 2 games that wasn't riveting. You know, it's been a great series already, albeit only 2 games. They've been exciting the entire time and really down to the wire, especially in the last game. And I imagine it's going to be like that through the entire series, which is why I agree it'll go at least 6, if not 7 games with Max.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that that everybody's been talking about is how aggressive the Braves have been on the bases. Washington has sent them at times when we were like, what are they doing? But one of the things that I think is interesting is the Dodgers are so stacked that you're constantly under pressure. Every guy that comes up to the plate is dangerous, right? So you're constantly under pressure. Really, the only way that the Braves have the ability to put pressure on you is to be hyper aggressive. And I think that's what Wash and them are thinking is every chance we get, we're gonna go for it. We're gonna put you under the pressure to make the play. If you make the play, tip of the cap. If you don't, it benefits us. So, just like we just saw with Rosario going early, because there's a possibility it might drop, and if it is, then he scores easily. So it's just, I just think the Braves are looking for ways to try to add pressure on the Dodgers, and that's really that's because that's what the Dodgers do to you. Every at bat, you're feeling pressure. There's not a well, except for maybe when Scherzer is up to bat, but other than that, that's everybody's dangerous.
And I think most of baseball's rallying around you guys. I think they're rooting for you guys with the underdog story.
Oh, yeah.
It's a really likable team. I mean,
yeah,
it's likable team. The odds of it actually happening, before the postseason started with the there goes one. All right, so that's
Seager.
Corey Seager again, just the same exact way.
Not at all the start Charlie was looking for.
2-run home run there by Corey Seager. Same way that Game 2 started out.
I like the way it ended, though.
I like the way that it ended. So we'll hold on to the faith there. The next question was, can the Dodgers string together the big hits to get the wins today? Max, what do you think about that? They're kind of showing it like this, but also in Game 2, when that happened and Corey Seager goes deep, I was like, oh, man, they're taking out some frustrations. It could be a long night. Who knows? What do you think?
yeah, I mean, if you guys could squeeze them here after because I think Dave Roberts really thought he was winning Game 2, as you said, too. Like, he put Urias in, and people were ticked he was in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, I was pumped about that result, and I like seeing the team that just has the largest payroll, struggling to put guys out there on the mound. But I feel like everyone's rooting for a Braves, like Red Sox.
Outside of Dodgers and Astros fans, I think a lot of baseball fans would absolutely like to see that. Boston, Tim, what do you think? Do you think the Dodgers can put together some big hits to get today?
Yeah, I mean, at any given point in time, it doesn't matter who's up in the lineup. They're probably the best bet for a team that can put together the hits. And not in just the 4 teams remaining, but in typically all of baseball throughout the season. They're just the best team, top to bottom. It just is what it is. But unfortunately, for them, there's these times in baseball, as we all know, over the long series and the long season, that you have ups and downs, and you go on these streaks. And right now, the Braves are on a good streak. So while they are starting 2-0, the results could change very quickly. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and let's not forget that last night's game started, or the last time these two teams met up, it started the same way. The same guy hit a 2-run home run. The key is to manage the damage, get out of this inning, and let's get back up to the plate. Again, though, this is a perfect example of the Dodgers don't walk people, and the Braves, Morton walked the guy in front of him, and then Seager does what Seager does. I mean, it's just he's the guy that when we played last year in the NLCS, Seager hit the big home run in the Game 7. So it's just up and down that lineup. There is not.
I was just thinking, Seager might have done that too. I think Belly hit the big one.
Well, they both had home runs in that game, but it was, again, the same way. I mean, it's just that whole lineup is just, Tim mentioned it, is just stocked full of hitters. And you're not going to go through these stretches where you mow down 11 or 12 people in a row. It's just not going to happen against the Dodgers.
Right.
I was curious, too, what do you guys think about a lot of the short leashes that have been on pitchers? Like, I was curious why. I mean, I'm not a Braves fan, so I haven't watched as many games as I'm sure you guys have. Like, why did Ian Anderson get pulled so early? Because he didn't look necessarily bad. I know he had some longer innings, but it was only, 3.1, I think?
I think he was in there for 3 and a third.
Yep.
He gave up 3 hits, had 3 errors. Like you said, it wasn't terrible. I was surprised to see that he was pulled also.
Especially to recompose himself. You know what I mean? To give up the 2 runs and then to get out of that jam. I think that he was just kind of upping his pitch count a little bit more than what Snitker might have wanted to see. And then also you could save him for a bullpen game.
Well, that's possible, but I think the main thing was they were seeing that he had no control over his curveball.
Yeah.
And it allowed them to sit on either his fastball or his changeup. And whenever a pitcher doesn't have the ability with an off-speed pitch, then you're setting him up to fail. And I think they knew that he was having control issues with his curveball, and they just didn't want him to go any deeper.
I agree with that. I know, like they were saying too, I don't think there's a correlation as much as people are acting like with the 60-game season last year of pitchers being tired, because they're professional baseball players. They're used to that, fatigue on their arms. I know it might have helped some of the older guys like Scherzer, but at the end of the day, like they've been pitching for years, throwing over 120, 150 innings. So I don't know. I think maybe it's just people being more cautious with analytics. But
that's a great point as well. How many grand slams are the Red Sox going to end up hitting? They hit 3 in their series. I mean, in their season, throughout their series. Their season, and then this series they've got 3. How many more do they end up hitting?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty unbelievable that to consider in 162 games we only hit 3 grand slams, the lowest of all the teams in the postseason, and then in 10 innings we hit 3 more.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And not only that, but to do it on one of the best teams in the American League. So it's highly improbable that they'll hit another one, but it seems like everything that they're doing right now is highly improbable.
I'd love one more.
I'm going to go with 4.
One more Schwarbaum? You're going to go with 4 total?
Yes.
One more? And I mean, it's fun. That was a moonshot, too.
That was awesome. I love that he admires it, too.
Again, if the Astros keep walking them, then that's what leads to it.
That's exactly what it is.
I mean, and if your pitching staff is giving up walks, you're asking for big trouble.
Ribs and rides coming up.
Yeah, on Thursday, ribs and rides, Hellcats, different cool cars, and trunk or treat on the 30th, which should be really fun. A lot of people dressed up. Should be a fun maze too, because we kind of got that back part behind Rib Crib.
Absolutely,
I'm really excited about it.
That's some good stuff. All right, real quick before we get out of here, who is your NFL MVP at this point of the season? Big Max.
I got to go with the chalk, Derrick Henry. I mean, he is awesome. I know like running backs are overrated now, but I mean, he is 250 pounds, fastest time recorded by any player on the field. And he's just stiff-arming linebackers. Like that, Ryan Tannehill is objectively not that good of a quarterback, and Derrick Henry just carries them.
He absolutely looks fantastic right now in a time frame, unfortunately, when running backs just don't look good.
Which makes him look even better.
And so he looks like he looks like a superstar.
Like Zeus.
But as long as Tom Brady's playing football, he's got a contender for the MVP.
That's a good point. All right, you're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. We're going to be right back after this break with Brad Law talking some Auburn football.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is your official radio home of the Atlanta Braves.
At the wall, that is gone!
The Braves take on the Los Angeles Dodgers in the National League Championship Series. The Atlanta Braves march to the World Series happens here.
And he sends a shockwave through the ballpark, and they're going crazy here in Atlanta.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Home of the official 68-degree chill. None other than the official Vortex Spring. The hottest summer days can't stand up to the everyday. Can't change it. Constant 68 degrees of gin clear water. Every single day at Vortex Spring in Ponce de Leon. Come for a day or come for a weekend. Camping, nature trails, diving, swimming, snorkeling. Something for the whole family. Discount for first responders, active duty, and retired military. Online at vortexspring.com.
It isn't easy following your own path. Being different requires great confidence. Bill Bird Kia invites you to stop by and see why everyone is talking about the 2022 Kia Soul. You can take a test drive and cruise in confidence. Right now, you can get $750 cash back on the purchase of a new 2022 Kia Soul. You'll get all-around good looks with an off-road inspired balance of comfort, style, and technology. The 2022 Kia Soul is a marvel of adaptability. It's peace of mind you can trust. Your local community dealer, Bill Bird Kia, is the home of that 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKia.com. We make car buying easy, and you'll enjoy the way we do business.
Cashback offer from KMA on the purchase of a new 2022 Kia Soul for well-qualified buyers. Cannot be combined with finance or lease offers from KMF. See dealer for complete program details. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 11/1/21.
Have you ever thought about flying an airplane? It's not as difficult as you may think.
Simply call Island Air Express. They are a family-oriented flight school who cares about the student pilot progression and more of a one-on-one flight training school. Island Air Express can help you celebrate your birthday by taking you on a birthday flight. Let Island Air Express show you the world from a different view by taking you and your family across beautiful Panama City Beach. Call Island Air Express at 850-814-6407 or visit their website at islandairexpress.com.
The next evolution in sports talk radio. It's the Afternoon Underdogs. Inside the Slim Chicken Studio.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Make it so. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
All right, welcome back into the Slim Chicken Studio, and thanks for listening. And you got to listen to the station to win cash. Listen for the code word at 8:45 in the morning, 12:45 in the afternoon, 4:45 p.m. as well. Take that code word, go to the website, espnpc.com, or the ESPN Northwest Florida app. Enter the code word there for your chance to win a stack, $1,000 in cash. Let's get to the phone line. We've got Brad Law, Director of Broadcast Operations for Auburn. Brad, big win in Fayetteville for the Auburn Tigers. What did you see from Bo Nix in this game? One of his best games when it comes to completion percentages this year.
Yeah, I thought that it was a really efficient game. I thought that they started the script and the execution from the offensive line and the receivers and running backs along with Bo. They were really in sync, and they had some quick passes to the outside and then the long shots that they were able to take when they got them in a little bit of a rhythm. I think all of those things coming on the first drive of the game set things in motion, and then you had a really nice balance. It was mostly the passing game with some critical runs that came at times during the ball game, including his longest touchdown run of his Auburn career to really cap the game. I thought Bo played maybe his most efficient game in the most meaningful spot. I don't know if he was more efficient than he was in the opener against Akron statistically, but for it to come on the road in Fayetteville, his most efficient, most meaningfully efficient game of his Auburn career.
That is a great way to put it, Auburn. Old school?
Yeah, Brad, I mean, one of the things that I saw that we haven't seen a lot out of Auburn was some play action. And the running game really opened things up for the play action that Bo executed very, very well.
You're right. And again, that's why you have to have a semblance of a running game, and you have to be committed to it. And the fact that Auburn led most of the first half, the fact that they were able to get the lead back in the second half of the ball game fairly quickly after Arkansas regained control at 17-14, and the Tigers were able to answer. Yeah, you've got to have that. You've got to either be able to run the ball in such a way that on 3rd and 4 you call a running play and everybody knows it and you still pick up the first down, or when that's not the case, and I don't think this Auburn team is at that point just yet, you've got to at least have the threat of the run when it's 2nd down and 7. And that's what Auburn had. Early downs, Arkansas had to respect the running game, and that opened up the tight end over the middle and in the flats. Auburn really used the sidelines really well in this game, as Arkansas put more in the box in order to try and stop the run because they respected the running game. That allowed some things outside of the box on either side to open up, and Bo and his receivers and tight ends took advantage of that.
So tell us about the defense and how they did with KJ Jefferson and Treylon Burks, and it kind of slowed them down enough to the point of keeping them out of the end zone.
Yeah, at least enough to keep them out of the end zone. And that was the thing. Arkansas statistically had a really balanced game offensively. There were some times early in the first half I thought KJ Jefferson did Auburn a favor by looking to throw instead of running. He had a few open running lanes that could have gone for big yards and at a minimum first downs. So they had a balanced day, but with the exception of one of the long touchdown passes to Treylon, I think Auburn limited the big play, and they were able to force 3rd down situations. Arkansas was 10-19 on 3rd down, but they were 0 for 3 on 4th down. And those are some massive stops to keep them from putting 3 points on the board, much less 7. And in a couple of those instances where they were in field goal range and they put 3 on the board, it kind of changes the dynamics of the game a little bit. So I thought the fourth down defense, especially the red zone defense, were really in Auburn's favor. They won the red zone matchup on the day, and a credit to the defense for, they bended or they bent a few times here and there, but they never really broke fully in the ballgame.
And again, thank you, Brad Law, Director of Broadcast Communications at Auburn University, and of course, future President-elect. Thank you very much for joining us here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. At this point of the season, Auburn looking at 5-2. We're looking very good in the SEC West. And we've had guys like Greg McElroy say that, Coach Harsin's is definitely in the lead right now for Coach of the Year. How do you think they are doing right now, and Coach himself?
Well, it's interesting. Everybody sometimes we say you're as good as your last game, and everybody was sky high after LSU and a little too low after Georgia, and everybody likes to say, well, if they play the way they played against the last opponent, it's going to be really, really great, or it's going to be a real problem the rest of the way. I think this coaching staff knows that that the culture that they want to put in place. Auburn football has plenty of tradition. There's a culture in place here, but they want to deepen it. They want to put the roots down a little further. They have signs all over every building that their players see that says the most physical team wins. I thought what you saw Saturday, especially in owning the ball for over 12 minutes in the fourth quarter and putting together a 6 or 7 minute scoring drive to ice the game, you saw, we stay committed to the game plan, stay committed to being physical, and it's a 60-minute game. And there are going to be some shots back and forth here or there, but in the end, the most physical team wins because the other team is worn down. And Auburn made plays in the fourth quarter, the last half of the fourth quarter, especially in the run game, that it would not have made in the first quarter, first part of the second quarter, maybe even through the third, because of the physicality. In the locker room after the game, Coach got a random, "I love you, Coach," just out of nowhere in the middle of his post-game speech. I think when you have results like this team has had in its first 2 road games in the league, the message that they're trying to implement, or the culture they're trying to implement, is much easier received, because you're asking guys to do it a certain way, and you're saying, if you'll do it this way, you'll succeed. And then they do it that way, and then they succeed. And I think that's part of the culture building process, and I think that's what you see happening slowly but surely up here.
Well, we're heading into a bye week, so what do we need to see as far as getting healthy from the Auburn players? I mean, who is it that we think could use a week off and have a chance to kind of get their body back where they want it to be coming up against the game against Ole Miss?
I would say there are a lot of guys in that position, but primarily I'm going to look at the linebacking core. Without Owen Papo in the lineup the last 3.5 games, it's put a lot more pressure on Chandler Wooten and Zacoby McClain. Zacoby had 15 tackles in the Arkansas game. He was going head-to-head with KJ Jefferson, who's a big dude at quarterback. Zacoby he's downhill. He is all heart, all hustle, all effort, all the time. He could use a break. Owen Papo hasn't been out there the last, 3.5 games. Auburn needs him back. And I think the bye week is going to, it gives Zacoby McClain a chance to rest. It gives Owen Papo a chance to get fully back and ready to be back on this team. Auburn has the best linebacking core in the conference, with Wooten, McClain, and Papo all healthy, all in the lineup. And I think they need all 3 of those guys for the 5-game stretch for the Western Division title that's coming up to close this season.
Great stuff there, Brad. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Boston Tim.
Well, I was just wondering, we're coming up, you guys have only 6 games left in the season. With the freshman class that you have right now, do you think that there's anybody that will be, like a Jacquez Hunter that'll be redshirted this year, that's or anybody that is a true freshman that will definitively stay on?
Yeah. Well, in addition to Hunter, I think Landon King is a guy who's emerged as a real pass-catching weapon the last 2 weeks. Got in late in the game against Georgia, caught a couple of early balls in the win over Arkansas, and I think those 2, and maybe only those 2, are guys who will play this year and not take a red shirt. It's really interesting when you look back at the number of offensive linemen that Auburn had coming back. You wondered if any of the freshmen they brought in would see the field, and they have not. You wondered about some of the defensive linemen. With transfers and guys leaving the program, might defensive line be a place where maybe one of those true freshmen gets in? Well, none of the true freshmen, including a couple of really highly touted guys, have been able to kind of get into the rotation. Guys have done a good job of holding that down, be it Derek Hall, Colby Wooden, new guys in Tony Fair, and those guys have done a really good job of maintaining the efficiency and the effectiveness on the defensive line so that the true freshmen will likely be able to step in. I would say barring any sort of rash of injuries on the offensive or defensive line, I think all those true freshmen, with the exception of Jarquez Hunter, Landon King, are all in line for a red shirt this year, and I think that's beneficial as they get that first foundational year with this coaching staff.
You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Got Brad Law on the line talking Auburn with us. Brad, basketball season sneaking up on us. What will the starting five look like for Coach Pearl? I know he is excited about this basketball season.
Oh, man. He is, and to try to project the starting lineup. All right, let's see. I think you're either going to have Zep Jasper or Wendell Green as the point guard, and both of those guys are new. On the bigs, you're going to see Jabari Smith, who's a true freshman. You're going to see Walker Kessler, who is the transfer from North Carolina. Smith and Kessler, I think, are shoe-ins to start. I think you're looking probably at Devin Cambridge maybe as a three guard, and then at the two spot until Alan Flanagan gets back. You could see KD Johnson, maybe the transfer from Georgia, in the two spot, working either with Green or Jasper. And I also think you'll see Jasper and Green, those two guys, in together a pretty good bit. This is a really deep team, though. I mean, when I look at the roster, I like Chris Moore and his experience and his toughness. He's added strength. I love Dylan Cardwell, who's just emotion and energy personified off the bench. Probably won't start a lot of games this year, but he's going to make a big impact in on the post as Auburn changes the way it plays a little bit with a bigger lineup, with a front court that's bigger and longer than Bruce Pearl has had at any point in his coaching career. Those bigs are going to be a factor offensively and defensively in the way they play the game. So tough to ask a starting five without Alan Flanagan, but those are the guys I think will get it started for Auburn this year.
Yep. Thank you so much, Brad. And every time that I hear you guys talking on Tiger Talk and Bruce Pearl comes on there, Coach Pearl is fired up, man. I can only imagine being there in the student body and having a guy like that at the helm of your team. That's some awesome stuff. And thanks. It's great to hear you on Tiger Talk as well, Brad. I'm always like, man, I'm talking to somebody famous every Tuesday and Wednesday right here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Thanks, Brad. You have a great bye week, and we'll talk to you next week.
Hey, guys, thank you very much. Hope everybody has a great War Eagle night down the coast.
Absolutely. Well, here in the Braves game, Jock Peterson just fought back from 0-2 to get on base with a walk. Adam Duvall's up right now. We're in the top of the second. Got a 0-1 count on Duvall. And when we get back, we'll give you another update on the Atlanta Braves. Let's see if we can battle back here in this 2-0 ball game in the top of the second. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. This is the Afternoon Underdogs.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Right now is your chance to win in the Grand Slam of Cash. Your code word is
Thrill.
Enter the code word at ESPNPC.com or play on the ESPN Northwest Florida app. 2 ways to play this national contest.
I just won $1,000 in cash.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
My forecast overnight, mostly clear skies, 62 to 68 for the low, an east wind at 10, and the water temperature in the Gulf 82. A chance of a few showers Wednesday and Wednesday night, partly sunny during the day, partly cloudy at night. The high Wednesday in the low 80s, and it'll be averaging in the mid to upper 60s Wednesday night. Better chance of showers Thursday and Friday. I don't think any thunderstorms, just mainly showers, partly sunny in the low 80s. For 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, this is meteorologist Tim Root.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Is that the sound of an ooey gooey, cheesy, crunchy slice of P-I-Z-Z-A? Obviously. But as good as that sounds, we think it can get even better. Oh yeah, that's the sound of a freshly opened fizz-filled Pepsi. The only thing that can take this flavor medley of crunchy dough, mouth-watering cheese, and savory sauce to the next level. How about another bite? Pepsi and pizza sound like a match made in heaven and taste even better. Pizza, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Are you ready for some football? So are the folks at That Boot Store. They have the latest in Western outfits, along with brand names like Wolverine, Timberland Pro, and many others, including Ariat and Old Western for kids. That Boot Store loves the Knowles, the Gators, the Tigers, the Bulldogs, and Joe's favorite, Roll Tide. That Boot Store, your team's favorite Western shop, next to Billboard Key on 15th Street. Open Tuesday to Thursday, 9 to 5, Friday and Saturday, 9 to 5:30. Remember what Joe always said, keep Jesus in your heart every day.
Damsel in Defense presents Defend Your Stance. Got an opinion? Time to defend it. It's the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back into the Afternoon Underdogs. Don't forget about Coach James Hale and the Coach James Hale Show live Monday through Friday at 7 in the morning. They give you some great high school and college football talk, no doubt about it. This is Defend Your Stance, sponsored by Emerald Coast Damsel, Independent Damsel Pro for Damsel in Defense. They've got a gun show in Jacksonville this weekend. I pity the fool who doesn't use our tool. Let's give you a live listen in to the Braves before we get to Defend Your Stance.
I feel like Buehler's fastball has been there, but his cutter, his slider, and his changeup have been just off the plate, and the Braves have shown a pretty good amount of discipline. Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss. Fastball 96.
Let's hope we can get a big hit from Duvall here in a 2-2 count in the top of the second. See what we get. Who replaces Coach O at LSU? Let's start with Boston Tim, see what he thinks.
I got a couple guys in mind. For me, I think probably the best fit would be Billy Napier, Louisiana's coach. He's a solid coach. You know, he's a former assistant at Alabama and at Clemson. He's young. He's only 42 years old. So as a head coach, he doesn't have a substantial amount of coaching under his belt, but he is a 32-12 with one tie under his belt. He looks pretty good. He's got 2 double-digit back-to-back win seasons for the Ragin' Cajuns, and he looked like he's in line for the Sun Belt Championship again this year. Another solid coach is out of Texas, not the Texas, but a school in Texas. He's a middle-aged guy named Jeff Taylor. He coaches at the University of Texas San Antonio, and he's really turned them into an offensive powerhouse over the last couple seasons. Again, another coach who doesn't have a ton of head coaching experience with a 13-5-1 overall record, but he does also have some assistant coaching with the University of Texas and Arkansas, both solid SEC schools under his belt. And again, like I said, his offensive mind might be something they'd be interested in having over there at LSU.
Whole school.
There's one name that comes to my mind. I don't know, and this is a stretch, but he's the coach at SMU right now named Sonny Dykes. He's an offensive wizard. You know, SMU just puts up points all over the place, and and I think that's been one of the downfalls of Coach O is, after the success of having such a dynamic offense with Joe Burrow and those guys that were there, that they just haven't been able to reproduce that. And they may be looking for an offensive guy to come in and really take over. And that's a name. I mean, he's a guy that's been banging around. He's been at SMU now for a few years. Highly respected from his offensive abilities. So that's a name that jumps out there.
For me, I want to go to the Big Ten and see if these guys would possibly leave their programs that are in a decent state, especially when we get to Michigan State and Mel Tucker. Right. He's got Michigan State playing well. Would he leave that program that he's built up to come to LSU, a program that I don't want to say is in shambles? There's still a lot of promise there, but there's just a lot of drama that's going on behind the scenes that you're going to have to clean up that trash and move forward. But the recruits, you would imagine you could get better recruits at Louisiana State University than you could Michigan State University, and then also James Franklin at Penn State. And you see the decline kind of Penn State, especially with their quarterback being out and them not getting the job done in Iowa. Would he think about coming to LSU and getting that job done? And then another one that's not in the Big Ten but is in the Midwest in Cincinnati, and Luke Fickell. I don't foresee that actually happening. I think that LSU is going to make a very strong run at Mel Tucker to try to bribe him over and get him to come and take the Tigers over and try to start something new with them. But it would be interesting to see if a team could make a run at Luke Fickell.
I got one more name, and this is way out in left field.
Old school Kyle?
No. Dabo Swinney. Dabo's been at Clemson forever and ever. He's reached the mountaintop, and now, unfortunately, he's, his disdain for the transfer portal, he's just done, the cupboard is not where it was before, and this might be an opportunity for him to gracefully step out, to get into the SEC, as a lot of people think he wants to at some point. So maybe he goes to LSU. One
real quick from our listener right now, Caveman Rick, before we get to Boston Sims, is Urban Meyer or John Gruden?
Hey.
That would be... John Gruden's way out of the question, but Urban Meyer...
You never know. Things are a little different down in Louisiana.
I think that would be a detrimental hire if they were to do that.
Well, we know Coach O is the second highest paid coach in all of college football.
Yeah.
And he had somebody underneath him in 2019 that probably created the best offense we've maybe ever seen in college football.
Oh, yeah.
And so he decided, because for one, he's never really been enamored with the whole recruiting concept, right? So he decided he has the opportunity to go to the NFL. He's going to take that job. He goes up to the Panthers, right? But he's only making $410,000 a year with the opportunity to make double that. So $800,000 a year, as opposed to 10 times that, which will be most likely offered to him if he were to take the job down here back in Louisiana at LSU. And I think that he has the offensive mind for it, and he definitely has the desire to be down there with those guys. He loved it when he was down there. Just the only thing he would need is complete control of coaching staffs. That way he could get people to do the recruiting for him, because it's just not something he enjoys doing. But outside of that, I think he's probably another kind of left field, but a good choice selection for somebody that could be in the running for the job.
That's an interesting thought, Tim. It's somebody that I hadn't really thought about, but it makes total sense that, that was when they reached the mountaintop, and he got a lot of credit for it. So, Brady coming back from the Panthers, it's not like he's lighting it up in the NFL at this point. So, that's a very, very interesting, plausible possibility.
Who was the defensive coordinator for LSU that year? Was it Dave Aranda?
Yeah.
All right, and he's the coach at Baylor now. Also not a bad pick there, because here's why. Joe Brady did a heck of a job. We look at Coach O and his track record of teams that he's been at. USC didn't last long. Ole Miss didn't last long. LSU didn't last long. Did he get a championship? Absolutely. Joe Brady gets a lot of credit for that offense. One thing that I noticed from that 2019 team is the way that the defense went from absolute trash to progressing each week and getting better and dominating towards the end of the season. Also, CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he did the same thing at the beginning of the year. It was like, he's a good running back, but is he the answer for you guys to have somewhat more of a balanced attack? and he became that along the way. But Joe Burrow, to me, stands out, and even more so now because of the career that he's having at the NFL level, coming back from a terrible injury, and has got the Bengals in position to really be a factor in the AFC North this year. So not saying that Joe Burrow never got enough credit for it, but I think what we're seeing, the overwhelming factor was Joe Burrow was a really good quarterback with a not so great team, and he made them look like a great team.
Well, he had
hire Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow had he had a lot of weapons to use, and he used them very, very well, but it was just a marriage made in heaven between him and Brady, and the style that Brady coached. It was exactly what Joe Burrow wanted, and it worked great.
Mm-hmm. And then there's always that time, and you as a coach, you see and you notice that very rarely you have the one or two players that are just a little bit more advanced than everybody else on that playing field, and they took advantage of that in Burrow and his receivers.
Jamar Chase
especially Jamar Chase, and it's still noticeable today with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, and Justin Jefferson was on that team as well.
Yeah.
And we forget, I don't say that we forget about that, but he's done such a great job in that first year with the Minnesota Vikings, and is still doing a great job with Kirk Cousins as his quarterback. Very impressive what those Tigers have been able to do at the NFL level. Joe Brady, though, that would be a very interesting hire, because you would have a young head coach, just like kind of how you have Will Wade as a young head coach over there on the basketball side of things, and a lot of kind of trouble brewing, but recruiting being so important at the college football level. And if Joe Brady's not really interested in those things or in doing that, that could be,
which is why, like I said, he'd have to have complete control of the entire coaching staff in order for him to take that job, because he would have to have somebody who he completely trusts, and he knows his style of play and what he expects out of the players in order to recruit for him, because it's just not something, like I said, he's not enamored with.
That's an interesting thought, is we don't hear a lot about the recruiting coordinators.
Right.
But those guys play massive roles.
Intricate roles.
Huge roles.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah. And maybe that, it's not unusual seeing assistant coaches get $2 or $3 million. Maybe the recruiting coordinator might be the next evolution of the coaching staffs that start getting paid really handsomely.
Big time. And don't forget about Joe Burrow had Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the backfield.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, and he really progressed through the season. We got to get to the break. We're up against the hard break here. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs. We'll be right back. Don't forget about Dan Patrick, Colin Cowherd in the mornings from 9 to 2. 9 to 11 for DP. Colin Cowherd goes from 11 to 2.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is your official radio home for Auburn Tiger football.
Touchdown, Auburn!
All the excitement of Auburn football is back.
He's got it in midfield!
The Tigers and new head coach Brian Harsin look to wreck things in the SEC. You can hear every game right here. Auburn Tiger football is sponsored locally by Pineapple Willie's, Best Way Portable Building, and 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Offered Tire and Service Center on Tyndall Parkway in Callaway is your authorized Goodyear and Michelin dealer.
Here's a cool fact about coolant. To make cars lighter and more fuel efficient, many manufacturers have reduced the size and weight of the cooling system and components. Good news is it saves you gas. The bad news? The system runs hotter so the coolant breaks down sooner. At Offered Tire and Service Center, they don't just drain and replace your coolant, they flush your entire system to get rid of the gunk.
Offered Tire and Service Center on Tyndall Parkway in Callaway.
Are you thinking about buying or selling real estate in the Panama City area? Think Real Estate is your team of local experts who simply love living and working in Bay County and helping others make their dreams come true through the exchange of homes and properties. We strive to provide excellent customer service in residential, commercial, and investment sales, as well as property management by combining classic customer service with crazy fresh marketing. Visit our website, whenyoutthink.com.
Cartridge World has high quality, low cost, and dependable ink and toner cartridges, the perfect alternative to expensive brand and big box store printer cartridges with average savings of 30%. Backed by our triple check system. Don't lease or buy a printer or copier. Join Cartridge World's no-cost printer program. Just agree to buy your ongoing toner cartridges from Cartridge World and the printer is no cost. Exclusions apply. Visit Cartridge World today on 23rd Street in the Public Shopping Center.
Panama City Sports Monster. Powered by Pepsi. WGSX Lynn Haven, Panama City. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Beef O'Brady's 2 for $20. Steak is back and desserts are in, like Beef's crispy funnel fries. Pick a starter or dessert to share, plus 2 entrees like USDA choice cut sirloin, all for $20. Beef O'Brady's, what'll you choose?
What's up? It's David Hayes from the Afternoon Underdogs and a big fan of Lynn Haven Beef O'Brady's. Call or order online to get their amazing food to go or stop by and dine in to enjoy their relaxing atmosphere. Beef O'Brady's, good food, good sports, and great friends of ESPN Northwest Florida.
There's no need to fear.
The Underdogs are here. The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air.
What time is it?
Live from the Slim Chicken Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back into the Afternoon Underdogs. It's hour 2. We've got some headlines to get into, but Braves just got out of the second inning there, so it's still a 2-0 ball game. We're in between innings here, about to go into the top of the third. Hopefully the Braves can get their bats going. Washington State has fired their football coach, Nick Rolovich, and 4 assistants for refusing the state-mandated COVID-19 vaccine. Tennessee Titans in a scary situation last night. Lose their left tackle, Taylor Lewan. He was carted off on a stretcher after jumping on top of a dog pile, and his neck kind of got compressed there and it just kind of looked knocked out for the longest. And then next thing you know, come back from commercial and he's getting carted off on the stretcher there. And also another injury in the secondary, a cornerback, Caleb Farley. He's a first-round pick out of Virginia Tech. He tore his ACL, so you know what that means, likely out for the season. As if that defense wasn't thin enough. It's so surprising that they got done what they got done last night. And then with Taylor Lewan being carted off, the Titans did not allow a sack last night. You remember these other games, that game against the Jets? And the defensive line was just walking through there and sacking Ryan Tannehill. I was very oddly surprised to see that last night, that the offensive line was holding up so well. Also, Philadelphia 76ers have suspended Ben Simmons for their season opener. Basically comes down to not participating in practice and conduct detrimental to the team. This is not a good situation for Philadelphia, no matter how much they think this guy could be a part of their team, which I don't think that they think that at this point. The problem is trying to find somebody to take that contract and take this player who obviously doesn't care about gelling with the team. What do you guys think about Ben Simmons here in his just now coming back with the team, and he can't even make it through 3 practices without getting suspended?
Right, and in accordance with Doc Rivers, he stated that he just felt like he was a distraction and that he didn't want to participate and do what the rest of the team was doing. And for me at this point, if you see what Embiid has been saying and other guys on the team,
he's not no babysitter.
Well, we're already at the point where the other guys on the team don't even really care what you're doing anymore. Mm-hmm. So even if you do get to the point where you're ready to come back to the team and everybody makes it happen, your teammates are probably not going to be welcoming you back because of the way that you've acted prior to what's happening now. So for me, he's already put himself in a hole that's just not going to be able to get out of in Philadelphia.
Old school?
I don't know. This is just pathetic. I mean, get him a damn pacifier. I mean, it's just pathetic. This guy doesn't want to be there. The only reason why he's there is because nobody will take him. The 76ers are in a position where they have to welcome him back because the only chance they have of ever trading the guy is to get his value back up. But here he is. He's at practice, right? He has he doesn't even have shorts on. He's got sweatpants on, right? And in his pocket is his cell phone. I mean, he doesn't want to be there. When they broke down, before the practice, they get together. Everybody's like, go team or sweat or whatever you're going to say. He didn't even join that. He just doesn't want to be there.
Spencer Rattler, punk.
Yeah, he's a punk. He's a wealthy punk, and it's just sad. The only reason why he came in is because he didn't want to lose all of his money. That way, he has to get paid.
It still cost him 1.4.
This is where the NFL did it right versus the NBA with guaranteed contracts. The NFL, if he was on any team in the NFL, they'd just cut him and it would be done.
Mm-hmm.
And but with these guaranteed contracts that the NBA has, he's going to get paid.
Well, they're going to have to nickel and dime him every single week, and on every payday, they're going to be deduction, and it'll be another suspension, another suspension, another suspension, and until the point where he actually owes them.
I hope that's the case.
I think that's what the numbers show. Honestly,
no, I know
if he
that.
doesn't
I'm just
play
saying.
the
He says,
entirety
"I
of the
hope."
season, I think I read that, and I'll check it. But I think if he doesn't play the entirety of the season, not only does he lose his entire salary, but with all the fines that they can give him, he'll also lose an additional 6.4 or 8.4 million.
And it's just sad. I mean, a guy that talented. I mean, but he's been coddled his whole life. He was coddled in AAU. He was coddled at LSU. What did he play? 1 year at LSU before he turned professional. I mean,
the old Australian.
Yeah, and it's just sad that a guy with that kind of talent can't be a professional. All we're asking for him to be is a professional. And when you look at other professional athletes, you take a guy like Peyton Manning, right? He worked at being the best that he could be. It was a commitment to excellence. And Ben Simmons is like, hey, I'm good. I am who I am, and accept me for who I am, and I don't care that I can't shoot. I think I can shoot, but it's just he doesn't.
Right.
So, I mean, one of the things about being a professional is you're always trying to get better at your craft.
Mm-hmm. On the flip side of things, how much did the Sixers trying to deal him, which is irrelevant at the end of the day if you're a professional athlete, right? But the Sixers trying to deal him, not being able to get a deal done, he knows that he's not really wanted there in Philadelphia. Does he feel now? It's not up to him to decide if he's wanted in Philadelphia or not. But do you think that has something to do with it, and does that warrant his actions by any means?
Well, there's only one hope that he has of getting out of Philadelphia, and that's to come in and play well.
Right.
If he comes in, puts it, has good work ethic, tries not to be a distraction to the team, plays hard, plays well. There's, as the season goes along, there could be injuries. There could be a reason why a team would want to reach out to him. But right now, there's not.
And a surprising move for the New York Yankees. They've decided to bring back Aaron Boone for 3 more years here. We'll see how that works out for the Yankees.
Why are you surprised by that?
Really, because I figured you would be surprised whenever we were talking about this. I was trying to kind of throw you a bone there and see why you're not surprised.
It's simply the expectations in Steinbrennerville. You know what I mean? When you put out the amount of money that those guys put out every year and you bring the talent that you bring in, you literally have titans on your team in Giancarlo Stanton and Odor and 6'7" Judge, and they're not producing. The highest number of strikeouts that they've ever had in the history of their team came this year, and they just didn't produce, and I think that's why it's surprising that he got a 3-year extension.
I mean, maybe I'm just naive, but I mean, I thought that he tried. He did a good job with given what he had with the injuries that occurred. A manager can't control the injuries, and given all the injuries that the Yankees went through, they somehow managed to get into the playoff. They got into the wild card game. It's just that they didn't. They ran into the Red Sox, and now we're seeing what the Red Sox are doing to the rest of the baseball at this point. So, I mean, I think that sometimes the manager's just dealt a tough deal, and sometimes you have to tip your cap to the manager for getting them at least to where they ended up getting. It was a pretty good managing job to get them to the playoffs.
Opposite of what you said the other night.
You could easily manage $202 million worth of players and get yourself to the playoffs. Because Tampa did it. Tampa did it with a third of that. Tampa did it with $68 million. And 10 more wins.
All I'm saying is, I think he did a pretty good job.
He did average in Yankee land.
He was savage. Come on, man. He was savage.
He was, but that's insufficient.
I mean, that's what made me like him. Was the fact that but speaking of that, last night there was a moment in the Red Sox game that I wanted to call you out on it.
Call me out.
No, but it was a good thing. It's not called you out for a bad thing, but
Fables made me do it. It was Carlos. Coach on third base told me to keep going.
On the first game where the Astros won the game, the shortstop hits a home run.
Oh, Carlos Correa.
Correa hits a home run, and he does this.
Home run.
Whose time is it? What time is it? And then in the game last night,
Eduardo Rodriguez
hits a home and does that. And you saw the manager come out,
Alex Cora,
comes out and points at him. He's like, no, none of that. None of that. See, and I was like, that's the kind of manager that you want. That's the attitude that you want. He wants his team to make their statement on the field, not in all of these silly, crazy things.
Yeah,
and
we're not wide receivers in the NFL. This is Major League Baseball.
This is Major League Baseball.
There's only one sport with more integrity, and that's golf, baby.
Let's get to the phone line. Adam Goff has got some things on baseball, and Ben Simmons. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Fantastic, my brother.
Good. So, Ben Simmons, if he would just follow, and I know it's a big if, but if he would just follow what Kawhi Leonard did in his career, because if you remember, Kawhi, granted, he didn't have all the press and all the entitlements coming up and the big name, but his shot was broken when he came up with the Spurs, and he worked at it, and he got a shooting coach, and now you look at him, and he's able to not only just contribute, but excel and star, and he's one of the top 10 players in the league. So, I mean, for Ben Simmons to not put in that work shows exactly what he cares about, and it's not basketball.
Great point. Really good point, especially with the Kawhi Leonard situation. And I think one of the things that helped with the lack of press, too, was Pop being the coach and the stars that he was surrounded by, and kind of got
he was
nurtured.
Also playing in San Antonio.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying, is because he was kind of nurtured by, he had everyone else to kind of take the spotlight for him. And the next thing you know, we start hearing about this guy. Why? Because the Indiana Pacers drafted Kawhi Leonard and then traded him to the San Antonio Spurs. And we find out about this guy because he locked down LeBron on the defensive side of the ball.
Right. And then, but again, you're going to tell me that the Philadelphia 76ers never offered him a shooting coach, somebody to go to say, hey, let's get this figured out. Let's work on your form. Let's get you shooting jumpers every day. I'm sure they probably offered that a million times. If they haven't, that's really, really short-sighted on their part.
If they did, I imagine that he was at the free throw line with Shaq.
Right.
I was going to say, did they hire Shaq as his shooting coach then?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was Giannis. I don't know.
But, you're right. I mean, you're absolutely right. You would think that the 76ers would do it, and I can't imagine that they haven't offered that to him. And I think that's one of the reasons why they said we're giving up on him, because they've offered, and they've tried to get him to be able to shoot the ball better. And he's just unwilling to do it. Or, he goes home to L.A. or wherever he's from, Australia. Every year, and he doesn't work on his game. I think he has his brother that he works with or something. He puts out a video of him shooting, and of course it's probably edited, but you just see him making shot after shot after shot.
Hey, Adam, do you got time to hang on the line real quick?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Do that, and we'll bring you back on when we get back. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Shout out to Tim Root, who does a great job keeping all of us up to date on our weather. We'll be right back with the Afternoon Underdogs.
My forecast overnight, mostly clear skies, 62 to 68 for the low, an east wind at 10, and the water temperature in the Gulf, 82. A chance of a few showers Wednesday and Wednesday night, partly sunny during the day, partly cloudy at night. The high Wednesday in the low 80s, and it'll be averaging in the mid to upper 60s Wednesday night. Better chance of showers Thursday and Friday. I don't think any thunderstorms, just mainly showers, partly sunny in the low 80s. For 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, this is meteorologist Tim Root.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Coach James Hale Show.
So FSU's got UMass, then Clemson, then North Carolina State, then Miami, followed by Boston College, and then Florida.
And we still have a chance to be state champs because we get to play both of them. Those games will probably be more competitive now.
Weekday morning, 7 to 9 on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Barbaritos has been committed to serving farm fresh food since February 20th, 2000. For starters, Barbaritos food is made with love, straight from the heart. Every morning we begin preparing our food from scratch, from chopping fresh tomatoes for sauces to mashing fresh avocados for guacamole. Barbaritos cares about food. From serving char-grilled grass-fed beef as well as hormone-free chicken breasts to the amazing tofu for our vegan friends. Farm fresh is more than just a motto. It's Barbaritos' mission.
Barbaritos. We make it fresh. You make it yours.
Are you concerned about safety when you travel? Emerald Coast Amsel specializes in self-protection. They offer a full line of safety products like men's and women's, RFID wallets, and concealed carry for purses. Lifetime incidental replacement plan and manufacturer's warranty on most items. Give the gift of self-protection and contact Michelle and Rick today, 850-358-2810, or visit their website at emeraldcoastdamsel.com. Emerald Coast Damsel, independent damsel pro for damsel and defense.
Dr. Chad Mitchell, orthopedic surgeon specializing in sports medicine and joint replacement of the knee, shoulder, and hip. He serves our local athletes and our community. Southern Orthopedic Specialist has been the leader in orthopedic care for over 20 years. New patients are welcome. Call 850-769-KNEE to schedule an appointment. More about Dr. Mitchell and Southern Orthopedic Specialists is available on their website, southernorthopedic.com. Southern Orthopedic, getting you back in the game.
We are live and local. From Camp Helen State Park to the historic Martin Theater.
Definitely time to let our hair down and have some fun.
It's the Afternoon Underdogs. Live from the Slim Chicken Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back to the Afternoon Underdogs. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We left off with Adam Goff on the line talking some baseball with us. Adam, what's your next point of the day?
It's getting to baseball. Regardless of what I think the Dodgers and/or Braves do, and don't get me wrong, I'm pulling for the Braves. I'd rather, like you all talked about earlier, I'd rather see Braves, Red Sox, and Dodgers, Astros. Give me something different. But with the Braves, what kills me is they're running the base paths. Like, it reminds me of watching the Cincinnati Reds. All the base running errors that they're making. And granted, they're up 2-0, but, they were in a big spot earlier in the first inning today and got doubled off there in center field. And I just, that kind of stuff, not only does it cost you runners on base, but it lets the pitcher off the hook, and it totally changes the momentum. But really looking forward to hopefully seeing the Braves take at least one out of L.A. And then as far as the Red Sox go, man, I think they're going to be pushing that World Series trophy in that cart that they.
Oh. I like the sound of your voice, Adam. Man, you should read stories and end them with that same sentence every time. I'd buy every book.
Well, Adam, I understand what you're saying. I really think that, and we mentioned this just earlier in the show, that I think the Braves are looking for any way that they can put some form of pressure on the defenders for the Dodgers. The Dodgers, when they come up to the plate, every at bat you're under pressure. It's a high stress situation, and so if you're looking at the game and you're the pitching coach or you're the third base coach or whatever, you're looking for ways to create pressure, and you're making them, and sometimes it backfires. But the other night it didn't backfire, and it got us a win. Today's play, he gets a hit. Rosario gets a hit. He gets down to second when Freddie gets his first hit of the series, and then it's a line shot, and he was thinking, okay, I want to score. I want I want to try to get there. And he read it that the guy wasn't going to catch it. And sometimes it's just aggressiveness, and I would rather him play aggressive and try to put pressure on the Dodgers than to lay back and just let the powerhouse, the juggernaut, the $200 million payroll run over you.
No, and I hear you, and I can appreciate aggressiveness, but I think you need to pick your spots, and like you mentioned earlier, Rosario, tagging up from first to go to second on that play, that I think that was the spot to be aggressive. It's frustrating because you're going up against this juggernaut and this pitching staff, and you're just letting them off the hook. But I will say that it's very, very encouraging that the Braves are able to do what they're able to do right now, and Freddie Freeman isn't playing like Freddie Freeman, at least offensively.
Well, I agree. We all talked about it on Friday last week about what do we want to see out of this series, and I was saying we want to see Freddie Freeman be Freddie Freeman, and so far he hadn't been able to be that, but he got a hit today. Hopefully that takes the lid off of it, and he can get it going. But again, to go back to our comment a moment ago, in any baseball game, you want to get on the scoreboard first, and I think that's what Rosario was thinking was, it's a hard hit ball. I want to try to be able to score. The only way I can do that is to take the risk and go for it right off the bat because they wanted to take a 1-0 lead.
Yeah.
All right.
So if the Braves are able to get to the World Series and say they do play the Red Sox, how do you think the pitching for the Braves is going to match up with that lineup?
Man,
that's scary.
What can you say right now with the way that the Red Sox, really both of those teams in Game 1 are hitting the ball, right? And then Game 2 and Game 3, who can pitch against the Red Sox at this point in time? I mean, you might as well just put a pitcher machine up there and let them play home run derby.
Right now, the Red Sox are seeing the ball better than anybody else is seeing it.
But what that does, it almost gives me, if the Braves make it to the World Series, you know how we talk about you can't score them all in one game. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how much you score in one game. You have to do that consistently. Could they use up all of their offensive firepower in the series?
I thought about that today is, we see teams do this. They'll go on an offensive run, and then all of a sudden they all go flat. They go flat, and they can't put any runs on the board. Kind of like the Dodgers did in their playoff series.
Absolutely.
Let's hope that's the case.
Let's hope for it. Hey, Adam, thank you so much for the call, my brother.
Yes, sir.
All right. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Tip off of the NBA season. What do you got, Boston?
Well, I didn't have a chance to chime in because we went over a little bit on the break before, but initially when Adam Goff called in, and thank you very much for calling in, Adam. We always appreciate when you do. He brought up the comparison between Kawhi Leonard and Ben Simmons, and I agree with the issue, in that, Ben Simmons is having the same issues with the shooting that Kawhi had back then coming in 2005, his rookie year, but there's a huge difference in what he had available to him in compared to what Ben Simmons has available to him. Now, there's this one guy in the NBA that's known as the shot whisperer or the shot doctor, and he's been with the San Antonio Spurs since 2005 and unavailable to all other players. And he's fixed many a shots, especially and most knowingly Kawhi Leonard's, and his name is Chip England. And he is just an unbelievable guy who played at Duke, and he's from the Philippines. He's just, like I said, he is the shot doctor, and we've had many coaches, including Steve Kerr, who we know is one of the greater shooters of all time, tried to recruit him and get him over to the Warriors and was unsuccessful in doing so. But just the fact that you want a shooting coach isn't the same thing as finding somebody that's going to fix your problem. Now, there's millions of shooting coaches out there, but there's not necessarily somebody that's going to create for you the confidence that you need in yourself to get back on track. And that's more what it is for a guy that's in a professional level. It's not that he can't make the shots. It's just that his mind's not right.
Well, we've got some NBA. The tip-off of the season is tonight. We'll start it off with the Bucks and the Nets in Milwaukee tonight. The Bucks are bringing back majority of their roster from their championship season last year. A big rematch. I wonder if Kevin Durant got some smaller shoes this year so that he doesn't step on the line if he needs a big three tonight. What do you take away from this first matchup and then the main event of the night, the second part of the double dip tonight, the Warriors and the Lakers? Boston Tim, what do you got?
Oh, I'm excited about it. The Bucks, were unbelievable last season, and they, the season before as well. You really can't put them down, and especially at home. They nearly shot 50% from the floor last year at home, shooting at 48.7%, which led the NBA. And of course, on top of that, having the Giannis Antetokounmpo on your team really makes all of the difference.
Get out.
And especially we talk about
off the wall.
Sorry about that. So we're at the Braves game right here. We got a hit off Walker Buehler. Was the double by
Austin Riley.
It was Austin Riley advancing Freddie Freeman to third base. It was just about a home run, maybe 3-4 feet short of it, and went off center fielder's glove.
Gavin Lux. Yes, sir.
Sun's in his eyes.
If Freddie had been aggressive and just gone ahead and gone,
it'd be a 2-1.
Can you do that though? I mean, I would say that if you do that, that's stupidity at that point because the ball was in his glove.
I'm just being silly.
Okay.
Crazy.
I guess that's more in reference to the conversation that you and Adam were having on the air there. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, keeping you caught up with the Braves right here. Still got a trivia question. Kyle Schwarber is the second leadoff hitter with a grand slam in a league championship series game. Who was the first? Kyle Schwarber's second leadoff hitter with a grand slam in a league championship series game. Who was the first? 850-215-6290. Now back to that second part. Were you done talking about the Nets and the Bucks before you were rudely interrupted?
Not at all. I mean, how can you not be stopped when we're talking playoff baseball?
Exactly.
And I don't mind at all. It's the first day of basketball season compared to the last 2 weeks of baseball. You can interrupt me guys anytime you want to. But yeah, I mean, we were just talking about, this is a huge game, especially to start the season. Absolute playoff implication game, albeit the very first game of the season, and probably how we're going to see things, as Kyrie Irving probably won't be playing.
Well, so tell me what you think about the Lakers this year. I mean, are you buying the Lakers? Are you buying the old folks' home that
I was about to say, buy them an old folks' home.
Yes.
Are you really?
And typically, I wouldn't buy into it, but I think that they're going to be going with.
You're believing that Russell Westbrook,
yes,
is the answer at point guard for them.
No.
But I mean, I don't
think he's the answer.
Let's finish that.
But I think that the Lakers have something going on.
Let's finish that here in the next segment. Now, let's get over to Gator Jamie, play a little trivia with Gator Jamie. Hey, Jamie, Kyle Schwarber, second leadoff hitter with a grand slam in a league championship series game. Who was the first?
Man, you guys know I don't know anything about baseball, but when I think of leadoff hitter, I can only think Ricky Henderson.
Ooh, that is a great call, but not the answer that we were looking for. How's everything going with you, Gator Jamie?
Oh, good. They talked me off the ledge after the LSU game. I'm going to survive, I guess. But man, I'm pretty dejected knowing that football season, it's only the middle of October and football season's pretty much over college wise.
Well, Jamie, I wanted to ask you. We know that your son is playing high school football in Georgia. How is his season going?
Well, now his season's going fantastic. They're 7-0 and they're beating the brakes off of everybody.
Ooh,
I like to hear that. So
they're ranked number 6 in the state right now in 3A. So they are having a fantastic season.
Congratulations.
He's a little miffed because he's not playing as much, but like I told him, if you're going to be on a good football team, you're going to have good football players. So just enjoy the ride, because you're not going to get that many chances to win a chip.
Yeah, that's great. And tell us again who he plays for.
He plays for the Cherokee Buff Bears, and just northeast of Atlanta.
Very good. Well, tell him that we're pulling for him.
And that's extremely impressive to be top six in anything, especially when you talk about a sport like high school football. Lots of teams involved there.
Especially in Georgia, which is just second to Florida as far as high school football goes in my mind.
We've got a 2-1 ball game in Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen. Jock Peterson does it again. Hey, Gator Jamie, thanks so much for the call.
Yeah, guys. Y'all have a good day.
Absolutely. You do the same. We'll have another trivia caller coming back when we get back from this break. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, the Afternoon Underdogs, home of the Atlanta Braves.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is your chance to win cold hard cash.
Hi, this is Ernie Mello from Lynn Haven, Florida.
I just won $1,000.
2 ways to win this national contest. Listen weekdays at 8:45, 12:45, and 4:45 for a new code word. You hear it. Enter the code word at ESPNPC.com or use the new ESPN Northwest Florida app to play. The Grand Slam of Cash.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Kings by Blood Cleaners is your go-to for the cleaning of your office, home, or condo. Ready to remodel? Let Kings by Blood Cleaners do the demo work for you. Clean up or clean out commercial, foreclosure of homes, apartment complexes, and commercial buildings. Contact Kings by Blood Cleaners for a local, no-obligation free estimate. Kings by Blood Cleaners offers 7 days a week service so that it's convenient for you. They do things the way your grandmammy used to do it. Call Kings by Blood Cleaners, 850-704-8470.
Are you ready for some football? So are the folks at That Boot Store. They have the latest in Western outfits, along with brand names like Wolverine, Timberland Pro, and many others, including Ariat and Old Western for kids. That Boot Store loves the Noles, the Gators, the Tigers, the Bulldogs, and Joe's favorite, Roll Tide. That Boot Store, your team's favorite Western shop, next to Bill Bird Key on 15th Street. Open Tuesday to Thursday, 9 to 5, Friday and Saturday, 9 to 5:30. Remember what Joe always said, keep Jesus in your heart every day.
Are you thinking about buying or selling real estate in the Panama City area? Think Real Estate is your team of local experts who simply love living and working in Bay County and helping others make their dreams come true through the exchange of homes and properties. We strive to provide excellent customer service in residential, commercial, and investment sales, as well as property management by combining classic customer service with crazy fresh marketing. Visit our website, whenyoutthink.com.
Green. When you want a big-time sports show, tune in for the Afternoon Underdogs.
I'm going to send you up against the best.
Weekdays from 4 till 6.
Negative, Ghost Rider.
Live from the Slim Chicken Studio.
Grenade for speed.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back into the Slim Chicken Studio, riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, and we've got some big news from the Atlanta Braves game right now.
Bueller.
We've got a tie game in the Dodgers, in Dodger Stadium. The bases are juiced. Travis d'Arnaud just drew a walk, and we've got somebody to play trivia. You're on the air with us. Go ahead. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name's Mike. I'm calling from Lynn Haven.
Awesome. That is some good stuff there. The question is, Kyle Schwarber is the second leadoff hitter with a grand slam in a league championship series game. Who was the first?
Ronald Acuna Jr.
Oh, that is a great guess as well, but it's not the answer that we're looking for. Thanks so much for the call. You have a great day.
All right, thanks.
Absolutely. Wow, man, we've got a tie game here in Los Angeles. Give me a call, 850-215-6290 if you'd like to win $25 to one of the following restaurants: Maddie's La Casita, Off the Hook Bar and Grill, Paparazzi Gourmet Deli and Pizza, Simply Seafood, or Trigo San Francisco Style Deli. These great gifts are brought to you by Merchant Management Group, the only local credit processing company in our area. Restaurants, retail shops, salons, and spas. Call 850-774-0664. They could eliminate your fees. Kyle Schwarber, second leadoff hitter with a grand slam in a league championship series game. Who was the first? A hint, he also played for the Boston Red Sox. Now, we were talking about the Lakers and how they'll gel with Russell Westbrook. Old School, what is your stance on how the joke here, but the retirement home team will do?
I think they will be good, but I don't think they will be a champion. I mean, you got LeBron, you got AD, but Russell Westbrook is not the answer.
Boom! Braves in the
Dansby,
lead.
Swanson.
Braves in the lead.
Dansby.
All right, back to the regular programming.
I just don't think that Russell Westbrook is the answer, and I don't know who the second point guard that they have is. And
Well, we have they have multiple, not we. Whew, sorry about that, Boston. I'll take it back.
Take it back.
Well, of course they have Rajon Rondo, who is
he's older than I am.
Right, who has been moderate at best since he left Boston in the 08 championship season. Yeah. But they
playoff
do have a young
Rondo is not
they do have a
Rondo.
young player who I really like. He was, of course, due to an injury, he ran out of the opportunity to be in the rookie race last year. But a solid player and point guard in Kendrick Nunn. And Kendrick Nunn's, 2013-14, I think he played for the Illini, dismissed in the 15-16 season, took a season off, and ended up becoming starting point guard for Oakland. Won the Horizon Player of the Year and led the NCAA in three-pointers that year. So he's a great shooter. We know he's not afraid to pull the trigger. That's a solid person that you want as a backup right there. And they have Rajon Rondo, again, as I said, as well as a good person that works well with LeBron James.
Hold your thoughts right there. Let's get to the line. We've got Britt on the line ready to play some trivia. Kyle Schwarber, second leadoff hitter with a grand slam in a league championship series game. Who was the first, Britt?
I'm going to guess Johnny Damon.
Is that your final answer?
That's the only one I got.
Yes, sir.
Good job.
Britt,
Good
good job, man, on a day with the Braves making some moves right here to be up 3-2 in the fourth inning in the National League Championship Series, possibly go up 3-0. You got the answer correct. Do me a favor and shoot a text over to 850-215-6290. Same number that you just called, and I will get you set up. Tell me which restaurant you would like out of Maddie's La Casita, Off the Hook Bar and Grill, Paparazzi Gourmet Deli, Simply Seafood, and Trigos. Just shoot me a text with that information, and I will finish it all out from there.
Will do.
All right. Thanks so much for the call. Appreciate all of you that are listening today on a day where the Braves are trying to push the Dodgers to the brink. I got Lakers on the mind, almost said push the Lakers to the brink. What else do you have on the Lakers?
Well, I was just stating that, I think that a lot of people are like old school, are looking at it like because they got Westbrook, he's the person that's going to make the difference. And I don't think they ever needed to get him at all. I don't think he's going to be the difference maker whatsoever. I think what they're going to do is they're going to have him, and he's going to be able to give other guys rest. So you haven't seen it before out of LeBron James, but I think we're going to start seeing him taking games off just to rest.
I think at this point in time in his career, you need to do that.
I think
keep
the
him as fresh
entire
as you
Lakers
can.
squad is going to do that. If you look at the guys that they have and picking up DeAndre, Jordan, they picked up Trevor Ariza, they picked up a lot of veterans that are going to need rest throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they are solid. They've got a couple of young guys like Malik Monk, who they picked up out of Charlotte. You know, I really like him as well. So I think I agree with old school that they're definitely not going to be a championship team, but I do believe that they will have a run in the playoffs for sure.
Can't wait. We got 82 games. They do have a regular off season they had a regular off season compared to the year prior to that, so that should be beneficial, especially for the veteran players, the older players, and give them more time to give their muscles some time off.
Right.
Especially
It's still shortened by about 50 days.
Is it about 50
because
days?
the playoffs ran longer because they started later because of COVID last
Closer though to a normal off season than what we had in the year before, where it was like
better
back
than
to
the
back.
first year of COVID for sure.
No doubt about it.
LeBron's still complaining though, as always.
Give that man a pacifier. Get him a damn pacifier.
All right, man. So, in the world of the NFL, you brought up a great question that we used for Defend Your Stance, and we didn't really have enough time to get into it. We've got a couple of minutes here that we've got to play with. Should tip passes that go for interceptions be counted against the quarterback, or should they figure out a new method, especially in the age of statistics that we're in, to measure those throws? Because if you look at Mac Jones, there's been a lot of passes that have tipped off of the wide receiver's hands that are extremely catchable balls, and then they go into the secondary and boom. And you look at there was one last night by Josh Allen that I believe David Long ended up coming down. No, Kevin Byard did. He almost ran it back. That's right. And that one, a tip pass. But there's a difference. For me, if it's tipped off the line of scrimmage, that's the quarterback's fault still.
Right.
So I do think that there needs to be some sort of measurement where it comes down or a way that it could fall on the wide receiver for if it's their fault that the quarterback doesn't get it. But, man, that would change the world of fantasy for sure.
Well, they already track drops.
Yeah.
So, why is it?
You could call it a drint, a dropped interception.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the point.
I see it. You see where I'm trying to get to, yeah.
I could see your desire for it, but I just don't think that there's a need for it. Whether you're pointing blame or not isn't going to change the situation, and that's really what you're trying to figure out here is who to point blame at. But that's not what needs to happen here. They need to catch the ball. That's what needs to happen.
I mean, if you hit somebody in the hands, they should catch the ball. I mean, we celebrate these one-handed catches all the time. Well, I mean, come on. They need to do it.
Yeah, it'd be nice to celebrate a couple of two-handed catches that were supposed to be caught.
I mean,
let's find out what our resident caveman Rick's got to say. Caveman, you're on the air. Go ahead.
The beard.
4-2 Braves, by the way. 4-2 Braves, top fourth. Bueller is gone, so you won't hear the sounder anymore for Walker Bueller.
Right on. All right, so what you guys are talking about yesterday and today, I totally get. And what they should do, like you're saying, if it's tipped like at the line of scrimmage or down the field where like a linebacker can get the ball, then that should be on a quarterback. But if it hits the running back or like the wide receivers in the numbers or their hands and they drop it, it should go against them. And even if they have to count it as like an error in baseball, like you should have made that play, but it was on you, not count that interception against a quarterback against their stats, and definitely not against the fantasy. If anything, do that -2 against that running back or that wide receiver that should have caught that ball, or at least a -1 for like some type of an error like they do in baseball. I don't see they track all these other metrics. Why can't you track that? It wouldn't be that much more difficult, I don't think.
I agree with you. I love it. I love how we're all coming back to what matters the most to us, though, right? Fantasy football.
That's it, man, and money sometimes.
Yeah, no doubt, though.
Dollars and cents on it, and like obviously too, you're talking like stats gambling's getting really big in this country.
Prop bets.
Bet during games, over and unders for interceptions thrown and such like that. And that can make a huge swing and a huge deal, when it comes to that kind of stuff.
No doubt about it. Go ahead, Old School.
Well, then what about when a quarterback is sacked, that yardage is taken against that yardage is taken against the running game. So I mean that takes away, records and different things that can happen in the running game just because the quarterback got sacked.
But that's on the ground, and when a quarterback runs for yards, though, that counts for it, though, for the rushing game, though, too. So, I mean, if that counts for it, then the same has got to be if a quarterback gets sacked, though, behind the line of scrimmage. You can't have it one way. You got to have it both ways. It should be a two-way street,
I hate it when Caveman is right.
Caveman, we're up against a break. Thanks so much for the call, and thanks so much for being right, because Old School is going to need a pacifier.
I pity the fool that doesn't use their tools.
I'm biting. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right, buddy. Man. Yes, sir. No doubt about it. Don't forget about Blue Sky Car Wash. Get out there, get that car clean, as well as Certified Gearhead Motorsports, the home of the $30 oil change. We're going to be right back, and when we do, we'll give you an update on the Atlanta Braves. Freddie had the bases juiced. Find out what happens next. We'll be right back.
My forecast overnight, mostly clear skies, 62 to 68 for the low, an east wind at 10, and the water temperature in the Gulf, 82. A chance of a few showers Wednesday and Wednesday night, partly sunny during the day, partly cloudy at night. The high Wednesday in the low 80s, and it'll be averaging in the mid to upper 60s Wednesday night. Better chance of showers Thursday and Friday. I don't think any thunderstorms, just mainly showers, partly sunny in the low 80s. For 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, that's in meteorologist Tim Root.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is your official radio home of the Atlanta Braves.
Riley smokes one to deep left, back there towards the pole. That is a home run.
The men of October are back.
Here comes Ozzie, and the Braves take game one.
The Atlanta Atlanta Braves march to the World Series happens here. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
They're going crazy here in Atlanta.
Hear that? That's the plumpest, juiciest hot dogs you've ever seen getting their grill on. But we both know what'll make it sound even better. Oh yeah, it's a Pepsi to go with your hot dog. Because when you're chomping on America's favorite meal, relish, mustard, and onions perfectly blending into a crescendo of flavor, there's only one thing that makes everything about that moment better. A cold, refreshing Pepsi. See what I mean? It's like music to my ears. Hot dogs. Better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Let All About Garage Doors service your garage door today. All About Garage Doors has 24/7 service at no extra charge. Right now at All About Garage Doors, they will service your garage door starting at $99. And that comes with a free set of rollers. Yes, you heard right. They'll service your garage door starting at $99 plus a free set of rollers. Call All About Garage Doors now. 850-842-9188. Veteran owned and operated.
Live from the Slim Chicken Studio. Hot takes, the latest trades, in-depth interviews.
That is my reaction.
We break it down for you right here.
Very big springboard for the rest of my career.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
That's the problem right there.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back into the Afternoon Underdogs, last segment of the day here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Freddie flew out. That was the big news, but it is 4-2 in the bottom of the fourth. Charlie Morton still on the mound in the fourth inning at 70 pitches, but we'll see what happens next. Boston Tim, we've got some big things going around in our area. Let us know about them.
Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, Pineapple Willie's is the spot to be Saturdays and Sundays for football. Come check us out, 9875 South Thomas Drive. We've got more than 20 70-inch TVs. If you're in the football viewing area, you get buckets of beer for $20. Any beer we have in the house, whether it's a craft beer, a domestic, or an import, you got it for $20 and then half off select appetizers. So come check us out Saturdays and Sundays. During football, we've got all the packages. Every game that you can think of will be on. We'll be happy to show it for you. So come check us out again every Saturday and Sunday at Pineapple Willie's. And then, of course, we got to talk about Beat Down at the Beach, man. 21. Coming up in a week and a half. Beat Down at the Beach 21. We're about
21.
10 days away, guys. Blackjack.
Yeah.
It's hot. Winner, chicken dinner at Laketown Wharf. It's going to be, again, October 30th. Event starts at 5 o'clock. The doors will be popping open. Things will be happening. The DJ will be popping. I'll be live on the microphone. The event will start about 6 o'clock. We have a bunch of fights. We're going to do a Halloween costume contest. It's going to be a great event. We're going to do a party afterwards. So come check us out. And, of course, most importantly, a ton of entertainment in the ring. Kickboxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu matches, and, of course, live MMA right here, Panama City Beach, Beat Down at the Beach 21 at Laketown Wharf.
Can't wait for it. Man, where can they go to get their tickets?
You can go to eventbrite.com, or, of course, you can contact us here, or you can contact Rob, my brother, at 850-691-9650.
No doubt about it. We should be giving away tickets soon.
Absolutely. I'm picking up tickets today, and we'll be giving them away this upcoming week for the show.
All right. Cannot wait. Bay Volleyball defeats North Bay Haven to advance in the district tournament. They knocked off North Bay Haven 3-0 to advance in the district tournament last night. Though with that win, they're facing top seed South Walton tonight. Congrats to Kaylee Cook there, reaching the milestone of 600 assists. You played volleyball. Tell us how important that stat is. Talk about crazy stats.
I mean, that's pretty impressive. You have to spend an entire career setting 4 full years to get relatively close to that. You're talking 100.
She's a junior.
150 sets per year that are getting put down on the other side. That's pretty amazing to do that, and even more amazing to consider the fact that she's done it in less than 3 full seasons.
Wow, Bay High alum Michael Johnson inducted into the UNA Hall of Fame, University of North Alabama Hall of Fame last Saturday. The star linebacker led the UNA defense from 2006 all the way to 2009 and was named an All-American in his junior and senior seasons. Johnson also played in the NFL, was signed to the Seattle Seahawks in 2010, later with the Kansas City Chiefs, but he was most proud of representing his home roots right here in Bay County, Florida. He's got 2 sons who both play at his former school, Bay High, and he's also on the coaching staff at Gulf Shores High School. He said his new role is one that he's really embraced. Don't forget about the Grand Slam of Cash. You got to listen for the code word at 8:45 in the morning, 12:45 in the afternoon, 4:45 in the afternoon. Take the code word, hit the website, espnpc.com, or to the ESPN Northwest Florida app. Enter the code word there for your chance to win $1,000 in cash. Old school Charlie Morton is dealing right now. Just a foul ball almost got us to the inning. 1-2 count here on Mookie Betts. What are you seeing from old man Charlie in this start today?
I'm seeing a seasoned pitcher, somebody who has the ability to go out there with nothing and figure it out and get through a very difficult situation in the first inning. And now he's found his control. He's got the plate where he wants it, and it's not jumping around on him. So I think the Braves are in good situation to come back from being down, another Seager blast early in, and we're now up 4-2. Bueller's out of the game, so the momentum has definitely switched around to the Braves.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that big 4th inning for you guys where you scored 4 runs started off by Jock Peterson driving Freddie Freeman home.
Yep.
Really also gave a little bit of excitement to Charlie Morton. You see when he came out here in the bottom of the 4th that he was throwing fire and got 2 guys out real fast, and we're working on our 3rd out right now.
Yes, sir. It's a tough at-bat every single time with Mookie.
Yeah, with Mookie, he's the toughest. But, we need a shutdown inning here, and this opportunity for us to get it.
No doubt about it. We got the Red Sox and the Astros following this game tonight on TBS. Or on Fox Sports, actually. That's going to be a big-time game. Do you think that the Red Sox take the lead 3-1 in this ALCS? Boston Tim.
I think it's going to be a tough game. I'd be very excited, of course, if Nick Pivetta could come out and do that. He's got a good start so far this season with a 1-0 record in the postseason. He has pitched 8 innings, so if we can get him to come in and get an additional 4, and if we're lucky, 5 full innings, it would be really great. That's really all you can ask for when you're playing against a team that puts up as many runs as the Houston Astros do. We're going against Zach Greinke, so for us to be able to do the same would be very surprising. I'd really like to see us to continue what we've been doing and put up a couple runs in the first 3 innings and continue with the record pace that we're on as far as that goes, and that really will set the tone for us. But like I said, it's going to be a tough game. Look for the over no matter what. Hopefully we can just sustain.
The baseball had to look like a beach ball to the Red Sox last night. What was it, the second inning last night where they just erupted? They got the 2 runs, and then
6 runs.
Schwarber hits the grand slam to get it to 6. How many home runs went over the Green Monster last night?
I think it was 4, but I'll double check. Yeah.
Golly, that was amazing to watch. And you know that the fans there, like I said, such a raucous crowd there in Fenway, they were enjoying the heck out of it.
And then like we talked about yesterday, in how the differences in fields and what the walls and how the fields are shaped can play into the game. We saw 3 balls off the Monster last night that played into the game, 2 of them scoring runs for us.
2-minute warning.
We've only got 2 minutes left to go in the show today. Man, what a show it's been. Charlie Morton did let Mookie Betts get away, but he's got an 0-2 count here in the bottom of the 4th with 2 outs up on Corey Seager right now. If he can put this one away, we'll be headed to the top of the 5th. Oh, man. I hate to leave you guys like this, but we still got a minute, so we'll keep you as up to date as we can. Old school, what do you think that we'll see for the rest of this Atlanta Braves game tonight?
Well, it's becoming out, pretty evident that it's going to be a bullpen game from here on out. Bueller's already out. Charlie's getting his pitch count up. I think he's at 85 or 86 at this point. Mm-hmm. This is a key at bat right here. Seager, who's already done damage in both of the games prior to this one and in this one. if Charlie can get through this, I like where we're at.
Right, and again, we're ahead 2 strikes on the count right now. So what we're looking for is and having Mookie Betts on base, knowing that he's fast, is either a slow offset pitch or a fastball on the outside in hopes of getting a ground ball that we can either get to second or first base and get us.
Don't forget about Beat Down at the Beach 21. Tickets coming to you soon. The ESPN Northwest Florida app is a great way to keep up to date with all the things happening here on our air and in the sports world in general. We're going to be joining the Braves game here in progress right now, so you can get into it at the top
Charlie
of the
just struck him
fifth.
out.
And yeah, there we go. So have a great afternoon. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon. Coach James Hale Show at 7 in the morning.
With the
Keep it on the down low here.
Is